It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
And look, that's what we always attempt to do. Say that each and every Wednesday on Cats Talk Wednesday. Vinny Hardy in here for another episode. Flying solo. The homie Terry TV Brown is under the weather, a little bit ill. So gonna hold it down myself here for a little bit. Had a guest schedule, but that did not work out today as well. So it's just gonna be me for a little bit talking about the topics as we do each and every Wednesday on the BS3 network. Be sure to check the network out. Go to bs3network.com and check out all the other podcasts that are under the umbrella just like us. Follow. We got it scrolling on here, BS3 Network, BS3 Sports. Appreciate Ben Sutter for taking the time to allow us to be on here each and every week. Live streaming now, like we've been doing for several episodes. Live streaming on Twitter at Cats Talk Wednesday, the Facebook page, YouTube as well as my personal YouTube. We got the live stream there. Appreciate everybody that's been subscribing, picking up a few subscribers here and there. Appreciate all of that, and appreciate everybody's going to take the time to check this out too. A lot to talk about as always. Unfortunately, Kentucky came up short to Tennessee Saturday, so another tough loss to the Vols, to the hated rival that Kentucky shares the border with. Tennessee 33, Kentucky 27 at Kroger Field Saturday. So that was disappointing. Talk about that a little bit. Devin Leary had some help. Talk about that. That was good to see. Might have been kind of waiting for it. Looked the way everybody kind of thought they would look all season long. So, I was not in the camp that said, this is what it's going to be, even though it was 4, 5, 6, 7 games in, passing game struggling, Larry missing guys, receivers dropping balls. I still kept thinking that, hey, he's got a 21 for 28 kind of game in him, a 22 for 30 type, 280 plus passing yard game. That's the reason, they were so high on him in the portal. And he was able to do just that. 28 for 39, 372 yards, 2 touchdowns. So you kind of finally saw how that was supposed to look. Had how many different guys catch passes? 2, 4, 6, 8 different receivers. Dan Key, Dingle, Baron Brown, Josh Caddis, Taven Robinson, Ray Davis out the backfield, Demi Sumo, Carnby out the backfield, and a young fella, Anthony Brown Stevens. So you had receivers, you had backs, you had tight ends, getting distribution, a lot of different ways. You had Dingle and Caddis, everybody been clamoring for the tight ends for forever. So they had a combined 6 catches for 96 yards, 16 yards a catch for the 2 tight ends. And just going forward, kind of solidified in their minds what they know they're capable of doing, what we hear that they do in practice on the regular. And it finally translated to the game. So that is good to see. Hope that travels to Starkville when they play Mississippi State. Come up short against Tennessee. Then you have the trip to Starkville. I said it before the season. I think they would split that Mississippi State, Tennessee back-to-back. If they had beat Tennessee, I thought, maybe they would drop to Mississippi State. Here they've dropped the game in Tennessee, which makes 3 in a row now. They really need to win at Mississippi State now. Place they haven't won in forever. I guess I have to look it up. I think, is it 08 or 15? Anyway, Randall Cobb was like there last time they beat Mississippi State in Starkville. And no doubt, State fans are just as puzzled because they haven't won in Lexington in forever either. It's a weird home, one-sided, lopsided streak going both ways. Wherever this game is played, the home team wins. Kentucky won up here last year in Lexington, and now got to end this streak. All the cowbells and all they do, you gotta find a way because you lose Saturday, you're 5-4. It's a 4-game losing streak, and that just would be wheels falling off, coming apart down the stretch in the worst possible way. And that's the last thing that you want, as you head down to the last quarter of the season. There'll be 3 games left, sitting at 5-4. Ooh, that would be tough. We'll get back to a little more Kentucky football as well. Appreciate everybody that's popping in. Got some people viewing on YouTube and Twitter. Get those links. I'll retweet them as well myself. But definitely appreciate y'all taking the time to check out the show. TB is not here, but got to talk about them Niners. We know y'all who listened last week, he was up in Minnesota for the Monday night game. Watched the Niners come up short against the Vikings. They come up short again to the Bengals. Now his whole thing is them being healthy in January. Now, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm taking no, pity. I'm not feeling sad or anything, seeing the Niners struggle because we saw what the Cowboys did against the Niners. Went out there and got blown out. I was saying similar things. I was saying that particular weekend, the Cowboys and Kentucky look real similar. Kentucky got blown out of Georgia. Dallas got blown out in San Francisco. George Kittle ran free and wide open all night long for San Francisco. Brock Bowers ran free and all night long for Georgia. Which Brock is hurt now. I definitely hope he has a speedy recovery. But there's a lot of similarities between Kentucky and Dallas that particular weekend, in my opinion. I can't speak for TB, but I'm going to. He's not here to defend himself. A lot of similarities now between his Niners and Kentucky. Both teams start 5-0. Now both teams have lost 3 straight. Nobody saw San Francisco losing 3 straight. He lost to Cleveland, Minnesota, and now Cincinnati. So the 0 for 2 in their last 2 games against the AFC North. So, and look, you've heard him talk about Cincinnati, how he's, didn't care for the Bengals fans, going back to Jerry Rice torching them in the Super Bowl when we were kids, and now to lose to Joe Burrow and the Bengals as they're getting themselves together. The Bengals went out there to Levi Stadium and punked him in their own house too. You drop Cleveland at Cleveland, coming off the win over the Cowboys. Okay. Tough defense. Okay. Minnesota, that was a desperate team. They didn't have a lot of star power. Minnesota came out and got them. And now you get back home. Okay. Back at the crib. Cincinnati's coming. And now you lose another one. So interesting to see how the genius brainchild, Kyle Shanahan, handles that. He gets them right. And I know, look, Debo is out and they banged up and this and that. But that's part of it. They went out and got Chase Young. That's a nice move to kind of bolster that defense if he can stay healthy. Another super athletic, dynamic pass rusher to that nasty defense they already got. So we'll see how they handle it. But no tears for me for the 49ers. Uh, Got to talk about former Cat Will Levis here in a little bit, who made the BBN proud for his debut for the Tennessee Titans. Now, y'all know how I feel about the Titans, but happy for Will individually, what he was able to do personally. Also, kind of, you know, funny that all the Tennessee fans who vehemently, look at me struggling and getting tongue tied, were against the Titans selecting Will Levis. Now, this kid from Kentucky to go out there and drop 4 touchdowns in his debut. Now they have to kind of eat their words and, ride with the UK guy being their signal caller for maybe he's entrenched himself there from now on. Tannehill's out. Whatever they do with Malik Willis, we'll see. But all those Vols and Titans fans who were completely against Will Levis being a member of the Titans, let's see if they start changing their tune now. Instantly connecting with DeAndre Hopkins, which is a smart move. The Falcons weren't able to stop them from connecting for 3 touchdowns. He had 4 total. And me, on a personal note, look, from a fantasy football standpoint, I'm not a Titans fan, but my fantasy league I play in, it's like 20 of us. And when you have that many, it's hard to stockpile a lot of good players in a lot of positions. It just, it gets diluted, it gets watered down, and everybody, all the talent gets spread out, especially on offense. And so I said, I'm gonna go ahead and just use a pick, one of my later picks on Levis. I said at some point he's gonna be able to probably play and contribute for the Titans. And so you hold him. Could have, let him go, trade him, picked up another player at that spot. I said, nope, I just wanna hold on to him. Because at some point Tannehill's gonna Tannehill. Always does, he always gets hurt or something. And lo and behold, he's out, he's injured, and Levis gets his chance, throws 4 touchdowns. I'm in a league where you can, of course, you got your quarterback as well, but the flex spot, which is usually, from what I've seen, wide receivers, tight end, running back, this particular one, it can be a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, or running back. So I played 2 quarterbacks. I had Jordan Love, who I drafted first, because I was like the 15th pick, so a lot of quarterbacks already gone. Jordan Love, but then I plugged Levis in instead of a wide out or a running back in that spot. Put Levis in there, and he dropped 53 points in his debut. So that pick is already paid for itself. It's already been worth it to hold on to him to get those 53 points for what he did this past weekend. So congrats to Levis. Titans fans are happy and enjoying it. So that was cool to see. The team up the road, a big rival, in-state rival, Louisville Cardinals. We have to talk about them as well. It's looking rough for the homie Kenny Payne up there in Louisville. Got to talk about the young fella Wimby. I'm a Rockets fan. I'm not a Spurs fan, but Wimby is doing his thing, man. All the hype coming in overseas. I'm going to put a little Wimby poll out on the Cast Talk Wednesday Twitter account. Sometimes we just do random posts. We don't do set segments on the show like, at this hour, this portion of the show, we would do this. We've never really done any concrete type segments like a lot of shows do. TB and I just kind of flow, and we have guests and we don't. We do what we do. But sometimes we'll throw different polls out and see how people interact. It's been a little while since we've done it, so I got a little idea for one, and we'll tweet that out in just a little bit. Congratulations to Champ Kelly. He just became the interim GM for the Raiders. He went to Kentucky. As a player, he played professional ball for the Lexington Horsemen, professional football league there in Lexington. As an executive, he's been with several different teams. He's in the Raiders organization now, and just got promoted to the interim GM with the moves they made there. So congratulations to Champ Kelly. Got Kentucky ties. He's from Florida, but went to UK. Spent a lot of time in Lexington. Also getting breaking news that from another Kentucky rival standpoint, Hall of Fame coach Bob Knight has passed away. He was 83 years of age. Polarizing is an understatement to describe Bob Knight. It's actions that, you can't condone a lot of stuff he did. Great coach, won multiple titles. Got away with a lot of stuff that he probably shouldn't have gotten away with. But all that said, condolences to him and his family, and hate to see the passing of Bob Knight. He was a legend at a blue blood. Can't knock that. They had an undefeated team in 76, had a title with Isaiah Thomas in 81. Keith Smart hits the jumper in 87 to beat Syracuse and Derek Coleman and Ronnie Cycli and all those guys. So Bob Knight, heavy hitter in college football, passing away just now, according to the family and things there in Bloomington, Indiana. Getting back to Kentucky's other rival that wears red, the Louisville Cardinals lost to Kentucky Wesleyan out of Owensboro. KWC went into the Yum Center and handed Louisville a L. We saw them struggle last year with like Lenore Ryan and some other teams that they had no business losing to. And then they stumbled to a 4-28 season in Kenny Payne's first year. And you just hard to wrap your head around Louisville being that bad. They had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of issues. KP was on Cal's staff for a long time, as we know. Did his thing with the Knicks. Played at Louisville, as we all know. And so gets a chance to be the head coach at his alma mater. How happy they were to have him back. Milt Wagner, grandfather of Kentucky's current point guard, DeJuan Wagner, is part of the Louisville lore as well. And to see them welcome him back and the optimism that was there, and now to see how it has not gone well. And here we are in year 2, and before you lose to Kentucky Wesleyan, which these are exhibition games, we get it, but this is not a good Kentucky Wesleyan team. Look, Georgetown played with Kentucky for a half. For their level, they're very good. It's an exhibition game. We saw Kentucky pull away and win by 23. Then went one going away in the second half. For Louisville to be in a fight all night and scrapping and clawing to keep up with KWC, that's just not a good sign. And then you add to the fact that before that, he was trying to talk about their red-white game, and he said the blue-white game. And oh my God, they're losing their minds at slips of the tongue off the court, slipping up and losing continually still on the court, and it's just oof. You just wonder how can he turn it around? Will it? It's I hate it for Kenny. Feel bad for him because we got to know him well with him spending so much time at UK. As bad as we hate Louisville, we hate to see him struggle this bad. Still want to beat him. Wanted to get somewhat competitive and have a little juice, but this is bad. This is bad. So where do they go? Well, how? I mean, the honeymoon probably over. Just, whew, it's tough over there. It's hard out there in them streets, but man, I didn't think it'd be that hard. Oh, going back to the Kentucky Tennessee game. Look, talked about things we saw offensively. Um, Ray Davis was not able to get on track. Tennessee, you could tell they were just like, man, you're the leading league in rushing, and we can't let you get off on us. So, job one for them was to corral Ray Davis, shut Ray Davis down, stop Ray Davis, make somebody else beat them. Um, and so we were encouraged to see the passing game. We were encouraged to see that part of the offense. I continue to say that Kentucky offensively had the potential to be like a basketball team where you got five guys averaging double figures. How do you key on just one or two? There's still others that can hurt you. That's what we finally saw with Kentucky's offense. Devin Leary throwing to 7, 8 different guys, passing for over 300 yards. A little bit of the running game would have helped, but to see him be able to do that was nice. Defensively, conversely, you Tennessee's leading the SEC in rushing. Okay, you got three-headed monster at running back. All right, so they come in and rush for 253 yards. All right, you know they're gonna run. You know they're good to run. You know that's a strength, and you hope to limit that. But since you weren't able to, they came in and did what they do, running the ball. They lead the league for a reason. They've been doing this all season. So okay, you can't stop the run. You then can't allow Joe Milton to go out and complete 90% of his passes. Technically, maybe 86. He was 18 of 21. So, okay, 18 of 20 is 90%. Drop it down to 86. But, if you round up, if you estimate still over 90. Anyway, you can't let them run for 250 and then let him complete 90% of his passes. You're not going to beat anybody that way. You take something away, slow something down, stop something, one or the other. He didn't have a lot of yards. He passed for over 200 yards. But look, only 3 of his passes hit the ground or were incomplete. And they're already rolling in the run game. So you got to get stops. Got to get a stop. Make a tackle. And they weren't able to do that. The last drive where Tennessee's run out the clock. Got a missed tackle. You hate to single kids out, but when you see former players that we've had on the show do it, Van House does his cut-ups, breaks it down. There's the clip of Deion Walker walking after he's blocked on the 52-yard run, not peeling back and trying to pursue and hustle and chase the play down from behind. He had a missed tackle. He's big. He's huge. He's 6'6", 348, but he still just threw his shoulder and didn't wrap up, and the tackle was broken. Tennessee runs off and continues to keep that drive going. So those are some killers. Things like that you just can't happen. Don't usually see that happen. Hope it doesn't happen this Saturday in Starkville. If you want to see yourself be 6-3 and snap this 3-game losing streak instead of continuing and plunging on down to 5-4. Mississippi State is desperate for a win too. They lost at Auburn. They're struggling. And look, my theory though, you got to beat a guy that's a first-year coach. That doesn't always happen. But, Zach Arnett is there as the first-year coach for Mississippi State due to the tragic passing of Mike Leach. If you have your stuff together as a program, it's year 11 for Mark Stoops, you need to go down here and beat a guy that's in year 1. Even though there are varying situations that first-year coaches inherit. We think back to Stoops' first year. The cupboard was bare. Uh, Different guys get different situations. Zach Arnett wasn't expecting to be the head coach, but due to circumstances, like I said, the tragic passing of Mike Leach, he's now in that seat. So now it's his baby, it's him making all decisions. He's at the helm. This is his first year of being in that seat. So when you're established like Kentucky is, I always say, look, you got to beat up on the first year coach. Same thing with Jeff Brom. Louisville's playing great, and Jeff Brom has been a head coach before. I get it. Still his first year at Louisville. You want to get him while he's in his first year. This didn't happen with Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel came in year one at Tennessee, comes to Lexington, beats Kentucky 45-42. Like, look, you gotta jump on a dude in year one, no matter what situation it is, what kind of team he's got. If you got your stuff together or your culture in place, your organization, the way, for the most part, how you want it to be, beat a guy that's in his first year. We'll see if that plays out in Starkville when Kentucky faces Zach Arnett for the first time as a head coach. That's just my 2 cents. Like I said, that theory is not foolproof. First-year coaches, every first-year coach doesn't go 0-12. They get their wins somewhere in that first season, but you just don't want Kentucky to let Zach Arnett get another win this Saturday. That's just how I see it. You can agree, you can disagree. That's just my thoughts on that. Now, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. Bear with me. I got to go back to the Tennessee game. But just before I do that, we'll play a couple of commercials. Like we mentioned on BS3 Network, there are lots of other podcasts. So we'll play a little promo for some of the other podcasts on the network. We talk about the forecast with Terry all the time because he's the movie guy. He's been on there with Ben and A-Trap and all those guys, and they review movies and talk about them, break them down. And so we hit a little promo for the forecast that you can catch here on the BS3 Network.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
So that's the promo for the forecast. Check it out here on the BS3 Network. They do great stuff, especially if you like movies. Even if you don't like movies or not into movies, you can learn something about some movies. So either way, they got you covered. Getting back to the Tennessee game, talked about the offense showing signs of life in the passing game. Talked about the defense. Look, it's not able to get a complete game from all 3 units. It's kind of the 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Defense was doing well earlier in the season. The offense wasn't clicking. Now you get a big game from the offense, specifically the passing game, and now the defense is just not able to get the stops they need. Tennessee is an explosive offense, not as explosive as they were last year. In my opinion, you kind of made Joe Milton maybe look a little bit better than he really is, because they've been in Knoxville fussing about the same things we've been fussing about in Kentucky. The accuracy, receivers dropping balls. When the ball is thrown accurately, it's not being caught. When receivers are open, the ball is not being thrown accurately. When you get an accurate pass and it's caught by an open receiver, then it's called back due to a penalty. We've been saying the same thing that they were saying down there. But then we kind of made Joe look good. 18 of 21. Had that bomb for a touchdown they threw where our DB falls down. But anytime you needed a stop to maybe put some pressure on them, it just wasn't able to happen as much as you'd hope. But again, getting back to what I've been trying to get back to, we don't whine about officiating, but the catch that was called a catch inbounds by a Tennessee wideout, where he didn't appear to get control until he was out of bounds. The foot was no longer down when he got control. When the foot was in bounds, he still wasn't completely controlling the football. And so we're saying he caught that. They're saying he caught that and still got a foot down. I'm just saying Big Z, Zvonimir Visic, Kentucky's newest big man, he would have had trouble keeping a foot down that far out of bounds and controlling the football. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying that the review and look, and we still aren't able to overturn that call. That was sketchy. That's all I'm saying. And Coach Stoops turned that in, and of course he can't disclose whatever conversation and response he received because he's trying to keep the money that he gets paid. So that was sketchy. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. What else? We got the catch out of bounds. We talked TB's Niners. We're going to get the Wimby poll out too. Kyle Tucker from The Athletic had a piece. A lot of things well documented. He basically just laid out a lot of things that we've been hearing, a lot of things we've been seeing as to why has the basketball team been struggling. First of all, it's hard to sustain the way Cal kind of came in hot, 4 Final Fours in 5 years. Eventually, you kind of maybe come back down to earth. Cal kind of explained a lot of why that happened and maybe continued to happen longer than it should have. The departures of a lot of key people in the organization. Dwayne Peavy, friend of this show, we've had on many times, was the assistant AD, was kind of a go-between between Cal and AD Mitch Barnhart. Dwayne is now the AD at DePaul. And so that liaison relationship smoother outer is now in Chicago, being the AD at DePaul. John Robick, Cal's top assistants, a lot of other staff members. They interviewed a lot of different people as to why some of the changes going from the 2015 38-1 season to where we have been now, winning only one NCAA tournament game in the past 3 years or so. Not a lot of stuff we didn't know, just kind of laid it out. There's people kind of going at Cal, saying Kyle, not Cal, Kyle Tucker, the author, as why you want to bring this out now? What are you trying to do? Narrative for clicks. And look, he's a reporter. It didn't bother me that this comes out now. There was also stuff in there about how Cal kind of reads the noise more than he should and pays attention to outside noise, even though you're telling your players not to do it. And he kind of gets too bothered by what's being said or written or, discussed about him. And there's been some issues with that, issues with the way practices are ran. A lot of little things that have just kind of been declining and needing fixing. And go out and, be Kentucky good, as Cal says. Kentucky hasn't been lately. You go out and be Kentucky good, it'll put a lot of this to rest. And we'll see how Kentucky good they're going to be. Now, it's going to be a struggle without some bigs to start the year. Still a lot of talent, and I still think this team can come together and be more Kentucky good in March than we've seen from teams in a while because the past few marches have uh, not lasted very long. Like I said, we got one win the past few years, so we'll see. You got this. You got the talent. You got the young freshmen. You got to get these big men healthy. Are you going to play a little bit different? Are you going to change your approach? All that stuff we'll see soon enough. But that was another big story of today. Kyle Tucker's piece on The Athletic, which, what was the title of it? Let's see. Let me find that real quick. It is John Calipari lost his way. Can he and Kentucky find it again? So, kind of chronicled some of the things as to how he lost his way. And we'll see if they can get back on track. They want to just as much as we want them to. And it's just a matter of will it happen or won't it? And we'll all find out very soon. Got another exhibition game tomorrow night against Kentucky State. It's kind of the Kentucky State. It's not a double hitter because they went on the same day back to back. But the Kentucky women play Kentucky State today at Rupp. They won 88-71. So glad to see Coach Elsie and company get that W. Friend of the show, Cassidy Rose on the squad, and she got some run, dropped some dimes. So get Cassidy back on here next little bit as well when her schedule is freed up. The men play Kentucky State tomorrow. That's why it's not a double hitter. It's just a Wednesday, Thursday. Men's, women's. Let's play two, kind of like Ernie Banks. So these tune-ups are taking place. The women's season starts Tuesday against ETSU. East Tennessee State University heads up to Lexington to play the women at Trinity because Memorial Coliseum is getting renovated. So the women will play some games at Rupp. They'll play some games at Trinity. They'll play some games at Georgetown College. Kind of moving around different places due to the renovation taking place at Memorial Coliseum. Men will be in the Champions Classic coming up soon as well. So pretty soon the games will count. These final tune-ups are getting themselves played and fixing to be finished up soon. Oh, to the NBA, the young fella Victor Wembanyama for San Antonio. Just to see how the young fella plays, to be that tall and have the guard-like skills, it's crazy. He's getting better. The second half of every game, you see how his numbers improve. They've already beat my Rockets. They came from behind and beat Phoenix on the road the other night. And honestly, that was a rough stretch of play at the end of the game for KD. Phoenix is up, and KD lets Wemby go right around him for a putback dunk, and KD doesn't box him out, and then he's fussing because there's nobody to inbound him the ball quick enough. He's like, hurry, hurry, hurry. Then when the ball gets inbounded to him, gets trapped in the corner, and former Cat Keldon Johnson just says, give me that, and just takes his lunch, goes in, makes a tough layup, and gives Phoenix the win. They literally snatched that game from the Suns. My question, though, and I put out here on the Cats Talk Wednesday Twitter account, who's going to be the first person, because, it's going to be somebody, because every big man gets got, who's going to be the first person to dunk on Wemby? Now, like I said, I'm a Rockets fan. My man Jabari Smith Jr. tried. He tried to climb the mountain, and it didn't quite go as he had hoped. But he tried to yam on him, got it blocked, got the ball back again, and tried to put up a little layup and got that blocked too. So he got 2 for the price of 1 in the rejection department from Wemby. But somebody's going to get the young fella. He's athletic as all get out, but he's a little thin. So who's going to be the first to put the big fella on a poster? And will it be Zion, who is back in shape and trying to be back to his old self. Anthony Edwards. I got some other guesses, but I'm thinking those two come to mind first. But who will dunk on Wemby first? That'll be the poll. Zion and Edwards or someone else. And if you're saying someone else, name that person. Put who you think would be the dude that will get the young fella. Because it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, but when. So we shall see what we shall see. But he's fun to watch. And I hope he stays healthy. We know about the bigs and injuries. So Kentucky got 3 7-footers now. 2 of them are out due to lower extremity surgeries that they're recuperating from. Big Z is still getting that stuff straight with the paperwork and all that. But we've seen Yao Ming again. I was a Rockets fan. Yao Ming with the lower body injuries, not able to stay healthy. I hope Wemby stays healthy. Same thing for Chet Holmgren. To see those two go at it in San Antonio and OKC, respectively. Hope both of those long, lanky rascals stay healthy. Let's see. The World Series, we got maybe the Rangers. Look, and Ben Sutter and all those with the PS3 network down there in Texas. Now got a little more invested interest in this than everybody else. I don't mind either way. If Arizona wins, fine. If Texas wins, fine. If Texas wins, good for them because they were so close with Ron Washington was the manager. Should have had the Cardinals beat down to the last strike. So it'd be cool to see, the Metroplex get one. As a Cowboys fan, I'm all for seeing Dallas win one again if they can ever get it together. I have no problem with the Rangers if they win it. The Mavs ain't never got to do nothing ever again. Like I said, that's the Rockets fan in me, so I'm sorry. I know some of y'all like the Mavs, but 2011 was more than enough for them. But the fact that it's not getting a lot of eyes on it for the World Series, I hate that. But both of them overcoming and bouncing back from 100 lost seasons just a couple years ago is a good story. All the people that want to hate and not watch, and it's not getting a lot of viewers. Still the Fall Classic, and if Texas wins it, congratulations to them, and both of them had great seasons. So we shall see. It's just crazy that it's already that time. It's already November. All the sports are popping right now, as they always do this time of year. But we'll roll right on with it. Baseball will end. Got hockey and NBA cranking up. College basketball going. It's always fun. This time of year in March Madness time of year when baseball's about to start and then playoffs are coming and all that. I enjoy both of them immensely, should we say. Covered quite a bit of stuff. I think we got it all in. Threw a little shade at the 49ers. Oh, no, the Clippers, man. They get Harden. It's not Harden when he's 27, 28 years old. But Harden, Kawhi, Russ, PG-13, that's to force them that they're going to try to see what they can do. And look, if TV was here, I'd love to get his thoughts being a Lakers fan and his disdain for the Clippers. The Clippers to him are like the Eagles for me in the NFC East. Can't stand the Eagles. He's like that with the Clippers. Just kind of the disdain he has for them is hilarious. And they play, I think, tonight. And as far as I'm concerned, the Lakers still got a lot of issues. I don't think they're going to really do much better than they did last year. They didn't have anything for Denver opening night. And they kind of are what they are right now. But TV would have some eye rolls and some shade for these latest moves that the Clippers did make. So And look, I hate the Lakers anyway, so it don't matter to me. And hate his Niners too. And that's the whole show. Kentucky is the nucleus of what we agree on, and then we disagree on a lot of other stuff. And that's how we roll each and every week on Cats Talk Wednesday. Appreciate everybody that hopped on and were able to watch and check this out later. Also on Roku, I've been a little bit slacking in tweeting out the Roku links. We have some past shows that are on Roku as well. You can go add BS3 Network to your Roku device, and you can watch us as well as other podcasts that are on there as well. I'll tweet out those links. We've had some guests that have been on there, and I failed to do that. But y'all check us out there. Check us out next week too. Hopefully TV will be back. Might have a guest as well. Won't just have to hear me yakking solo. I appreciate you taking the time to check it out anyway. It's been another episode of Cats Talk Wednesday. Appreciate y'all checking us out. Enjoy coming to you courtesy of the BS3 Network. And we'll say go Cats. We'll see y'all next week.